Welcome to McLeod Ganj, Dharamshala. This is the residence of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama in exile, and also the seat of the Tibetan government in exile, known as the Central Tibetan Administration. And today we are headed to the temple of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and we'll also discuss 5 interesting facts about the temple. So stick around till the end of the video for a bonus point. As you know, His Holiness the Dalai Lama came into exile India in 1959 when Tibet was occupied by the Chinese Communist government. The government of India gave asylum to His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Tibetans who followed him into exile. His Holiness the Dalai Lama stayed in Mussoorie for a year, and in 1960 he moved to Dharamshala and has been living here ever since then. But before we proceed, 90% of you guys are watching my content and not subscribed to the channel. So if you are new to the channel, I would appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel. In 1970, the new double-storied temple complex called Tughlaqan was built, and unlike many other Tibetan temples and monasteries you see in India, which bears the Tibetan architectural prominence, this temple is built in a very modern and simple layout. And since His Holiness the Dalai Lama promotes the notion of non-sectarian ideology, this space was conceived to accommodate prayers and rites of all the Tibetan religious sects. Number 2. This temple was completed within a record period of 9 months, employing about 30 Tibetan and Indian craftsmen and about 70 to 80 Tibetan laborers. Most of the laborers that had contributed to the building of this temple were Tibetans. Almost half of the cost of the construction of the temple came from donations and contributions in cash and kind, and the rest came from the amounts offered by the Tibetan people to collect merit for the dead ones and to collect merit for themselves. So this is the main inside of the temple. This is where His Holiness the Dalai Lama sits and gives teaching. And this is the main hall. Number 3. The Shakyamuni Buddha is the principal image placed at the center of the hall of the main temple. The image of the Buddha is over 9 feet high from the lotus seat and is made of gilded bronze, built in accordance with the lineal measurement described in the text. And on the right side of the Buddha statues are the 2 figures of Guru Padmasambhava and Lord Avalokiteshvara. In the 8th century, during the reign of Tibetan king Trisong Detsen, when the Samye monastery was being built, Guru Padmasambhava was invited to Tibet, and he subdued all the negative and harmful spirits that were hindering the construction of the monastery. Therefore, Tibetan people have a special reverence for him and look upon him with gratitude for the many deeds and great performances displayed by him for the sake of the Dharma. Next to his image is the silver image of Lord Avalokiteshvara. The Lord Avalokiteshvara has a special significance to Tibetans, since Tibet is considered to be the land of Avalokiteshvara, and the lineage of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is considered to be the human manifestation of the Lord Avalokiteshvara. The 33rd king of Tibet, Songtsen Gampo, first built the image of Lord Avalokiteshvara in the 7th century and was housed in the Chokhang temple in the Tibetan capital Lhasa. Ever since then, the figure has remained in the temple until during the Chinese Cultural Revolution in 1966, the image was disfigured, removed and thrown to the streets. With great risk, Tibetan people were able to smuggle out few of the facial images of the Lord Avalokiteshvara into India via Nepal in the late 60s. These smuggled facial images, which has its originally consecrated formula intact, was put inside the newly built silver image of the Lord Avalokiteshvara in 1970. These two images are seated facing east towards Tibet to augur well for the images to be returned to Tibet. Number 4. Next to the main temple and to the right side is the Kalachakra Temple. This Kalachakra temple was built in the year 1990 with a complete mural depiction of the mandala of Kalachakra. Namgyal Monastery, which is the private monastery of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, main responsibility is to provide ritual assistance to the Dalai Lama when he confers the Kalachakra empowerment. And on the 15th day of the 3rd month of every Tibetan calendar year, the Namgyal Monastery constructs a sand mandala and all the essential rituals of the Kalachakra Tantra are performed. Number 5. His Holiness the Dalai Lama regularly gives teachings to the general public at the temple for free, and people from every corner of the world come to attend these teachings. The most recent teaching he gave at the time of recording this video was on September 5th and 6th upon the request of the Southeast Asian communities. Around 600 people from Vietnam, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia and many others from different parts of the world came to attend this teaching. Every time I visit the temple, I sit on a corner, relax and just watch how life unfolds in front of you. It's a beautiful place to pause and ponder. Watching the steady flow of people visiting the temple, the flickering of the butter lamps, the cry and laughter of the children, the squeaking of the prayer wheels, people meditating and doing prostrations, and the mantras chanted by the old circumambulating the temple simply calms and tender your heart. The energy is infectious and you leave the place with a renewed sense of spirit and joyfulness. And last but not the least, moving on to the bonus point. There's a little butter lamp room right next to the main hall. People mostly offer butter lamps for the departed ones, but one can also offer butter lamps as an offering. Offering butter lamps signifies the removing of the darkness of our mind that has been clouded with negative emotions. People also offer butter lamps on their birthdays and on many religious festivals and occasions. And as we come closer to the end, the temple also offers amazing view of the snow-capped Dolada mountains in the backdrop and also the newly built skyway rope that has become the latest tourist attraction in McLeod Ganj, Dharamshala. The skyway just making it to the top. With this, we have reached to the end of the tour. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and if you did, do hit the like button. This will help the video reach more wider audience, and if you are new to the channel, do subscribe to it. Thank you for joining me today, and see you in the next video. Till then, take care.